Relationship building is something that you do for a living.
In any relationship, you don't need to demand the relationship, you have to command the relationship. What any client looks at, I can tell you one thing more, eagerness of connecting with the client is what strikes the best. Not your product, not your conversation. A client looks at how eager are you in my business. Like your event said, CFO Story Club, right? Now you create a great platform for a relationship, which is termed as club. Once you create that club, you will know many people around you. Once you do that, things start falling in place automatically. Business will follow. So for me, if I can use 3 words, for me network is net worth.
कभी डर लगा कि AI will take your job?
Not as of now, because in our world, market changes so thick and fast. I do not know whether AI can actually evaluate that so fast.
I'm just 24 and I am a business development guy, first job. How difficult this is for me to understand the difference.
You must have seen the Australian bowler called as Glenn McGraw.
Yeah.
Used to call as Pigeon in his times.
Relationship building is something that you do for a living. And you're one of the best person to give your advice on how do you build a relation, especially in the business context. So what exactly is a relationship for you?
So I'll tell you what, I come from humble background of Rajasthan. I come from Bikaner. We are born and brought up with a social thread. Okay, so for us, relationship naturally comes, and the importance of the relationship is part of our life. I'll say professional comes later, but you also start personally also very, very well, and it becomes a habit. And I think without relationship, as I was telling you maybe offline also, when you asked me about this discussion, it starts from home first, because give and take is relationship, and every relationship is give and take. Without that, actually you really can't survive in life. Okay. That's the most important part for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I'll elaborate later, give and take, why I'm saying this to you also. Yeah.
So you said relationship credibility is one of your core aspects of building relation in the business concept. Now, I won't ask you a question to teach me what it is, but can you directly share me a story around something that happened and changed your life or changed your situation?
So relationship credibility is part of my profile also, if you actually see, which I always tell and which I tell to my team and everyone as well. I think there is no business in the world on this earth can be done without having credibility in a relationship. You know, whatever you might be selling, whatever you might be giving it to someone, unless you have that comfort and the conviction, it will not happen, whatever might happen. I think, in my view, I still remember, let me quote an example to you. Long back, maybe in 2007, sometime back, I used to work in Delhi in those days. I still remember my team member came and told me, sir, this client want to speak to you. I said, fair. I had a chat with him over maybe 10 minutes over the phone call. And believe you me, this was the fastest turnaround of a relationship in business over a phone call. We are sitting in 2024. I have not met that investor in 17 years of my career.
Wow.
And whenever I've spoken to him, the business flew. Now, why I'm saying this is because in that 10 minutes of conversation,
what did you do?
I think it's all about building confidence of his, and whatever I'm saying, he asked me few questions, maybe just to interrogate whatever I'm saying, but that really worked well. Maybe we struck the chord so well, it just converted into business. And post that, I kept on talking to him about the markets and kept on giving him inputs. But that really led to building an amazing conviction in that relationship that worked. Let me give you another example to it. There are so many clients which will say that what you're saying may be untrue, you may be not right. But at times, I carried my own investment statements in the meetings. And when they said what you're saying is wrong, I actually took out my papers and showed them this is my own investments, which are regular in the market. Just to build their confidence in me, whatever I'm saying, I'm myself practicing it. Kathni or Karni is the only thing in the world. So I think that's the way I practiced it. And once you build that credibility in the relationship right, I think there is nothing to beat around the bush. Then you can be straightforward in your conversation. I think I always say, and I actually practice it, in any relationship, you don't need to demand the relationship, you have to command the relationship.
Okay.
It's very important that you don't need to ask business. Okay, if you have good relationship and it's credible, people will come to you and help you with that. Okay. Now, I'll give you a flip side of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
There are times when you have a fantastic relationship with a client and he has full faith in you, but he still cannot give you business. The reason is, it's not that he's not liking you. His challenge may be that he doesn't want to be associated with the brand which you are associated with. The brand itself becomes the barrier for him to consider you.
Okay.
Which is okay. That's part of it. I will only say that control the controllable. At least you do what your job is. No harm in doing what you're doing right.
True.
And continue to do that. The client will follow some point in time. At least relationship will never be harmed. Last, maybe to put across the same thing in the same perspective is, if you behave like a vendor or a seller or an associate or a partner or whatever you call it as, you will never get your big business. You may survive, but you will not grow for sure.
I just want to go back to something that you've said. आपने कहा कि this client wanted to ask you a few questions and then it came across as an interrogation. तो मैंने भी ऑब्जर्व किया है कि कुछ क्लाइंट्स ऐसे होते हैं जो कि शुरू से ही स्केप्टिकल होते हैं विदाउट एनी बेस दैट समथिंग हैपेंड एंड दे बिगैन नॉट ट्रस्टिंग यू. तो ऐसे क्लाइंट्स को अप्रोच करने का और ट्रस्ट बनाने का कोई एक इंस्टिंक्ट होता है या देयर इज अ फ्रेमवर्क दैट यू फॉलो?
सो कोई मंत्रा नहीं है, इफ यू रियली आस्क मी. ओके, इन माय व्यू, इफ you came to me with a proposal, for example, saying let's do this, and when we are talking, two people are talking, which means they are talking because of business relationship. Okay, that's where it starts, right? In my view, you have come for a business as a client. If I am in the client's shoes, automatically there is 100% chance that he'll be skeptical about it. Why should he believe you in whatever you're saying is the first thing. So I think there's nothing to feel bad about it, first of all. Now, to convert that and take it to the positive direction of dialogue, I think the best thing is to sit, talk about facts. And maybe I come from a background of BFSI. There are two sides of it. Let me also tell you. BFSI is the place where wrong selling happens the most. I was reading an annual report of IRDA, which says around 37% sales. I'm sorry, 50% sales happen.
50%
is the wrong sales, which happens.
Okay.
And there are
What do
various
you mean
reasons
by
around
wrong
it.
sales? I mean scams.
Just to do business, people, I mean, it's a long-term investments of clients in insurance. You
Okay.
try to please them or do whatever you want to say. But question is, advisory is a very different ball game than sales. Okay, so for me, that's important. Even RBI report says, which came into Outlook Money some time back, which says 37% investments happen through banking channel, is also wrong sales, which is being pushed to the clients.
तो क्या कैसे अप्रोच करते हो आप इसको?
So I think it's a simple thing. What you do is you should speak to the clients. In BFSI, the silver lining of the business, the other side of it is, BFSI is backed up by complete data. Okay, there's all black and white. Absolutely. Whatever you're saying, whatever is happening in the market, you have the data to prove, backtest data to be proven with, and you just tell them this is what you're doing. I think once you do that properly and you tell them this is the state of affairs, continue doing it. And I think you're about to win that battle, because the data input to the client on a regular basis, once it goes in, the client will keep on watching and observing you. You will not be shunned off by the client. I'm very confident about it. In financial markets, once you win that confidence of the client, I think it's a lifetime. There is no doubt about it. Let me put a perspective on personal side of mine. I take very long time to build confidence in anyone, I can tell you.
Okay.
And I mean it when I'm telling you this. And while I spoke to you also for the first time, and maybe your colleague as well, I had 100 questions which I prepared and asked you.
True.
Even then I didn't believe. Let me tell you, after our call also, I
Yeah.
thought about it.
Yeah.
Then I kept on asking few more questions and you gave me that answer. Now where we could struck well was we were on the same page of our discussion and the confidence automatically came out. And that's where my sense says that once I believe someone, then I can play blind. Then there is faith.
Okay.
No doubt. And then business will follow. I mean, I don't need to worry about business. Business happens on its own in the course of time. It makes sense to remain.
What is it that you're looking before you say that there's blind faith in the frame? I mean, there's something that you identify as green flags. Can you tell me what these green flags are, if there are any?
I mean, in financial markets, one thing I can tell you, you can probe many things around numbers. I'm a hardcore number-driven person, so I will ask 20 questions around it. And similarly, I'll put myself into the client's shoes and say, what he can ask me, let me prepare and go to him and tell him that this is what is happening in the market and these are up to second decimal, this is what is happening in the market. You want to believe? Fantastic. You don't want to believe? Ponder upon. I'm leaving that with you. Submit it to him. I'm sure if you have given him right inputs, he'll not forget you. He will definitely continue to look at you irrespective. And I think last thing, what any client looks at, I can tell you one thing more, eagerness of connecting with the client is what strikes the best. Not your product, not your conversation. A client looks at how eager are you in my business. And if you are eager, not desperate, there's a thin line between eagerness and desperation. And he's the best person to draw that thin line between the two. And the moment you cross that line, you are out. But if you don't cross that line and if you remain eager, I think the continued business will happen. Business is a fallout of all that. Is there a mantra? मेरे हिसाब से कोई मंत्रा नहीं है उसका. Is there a written rule? कि ये 4 step follow करोगे तो you'll win the battle. And last but not the least, maybe I may give a long answer, but I'm still telling you this. I always use the word called as key account management. Every client is a key account for me. There is no set formula for all the clients. Every client is very different in nature and all of them will talk about something different. So I think take case by case, resolve their queries and then build around it. I think that's the best way.
And how do you maintain that balance? You said it's a very thin line. So how do you maintain a balance around that thin line? One side you have a professional relationship and then as you keep interacting, you develop the one-to-one rapport with the person. So how do you is there a framework that you follow behind keeping that balance between that professional aspect and that personal aspect?
So generally you get to know people in two ways. Either you know the client through your meetings directly, either you have set up yourself or a team member has set up, or you get through a reference. I think there is no third thing if you ask me. Both the places it's very different because if it is a direct meeting, it starts on a professional note. There is no doubt about it. And I think then you continue to follow the process of building credibility, you continue to talk to him on many aspects and then you build around it. And then you win the battle over a period of time if your confidence comes in. Second thing, if it goes through a reference, which means you are starting slightly higher on a pedestal because that person is referred by someone who is already your confidant. Okay, and that is where your half the battle is won for sure, no doubt. But you made an entry on a positive note, on a positive foundation. This is where, in our abbreviation, we call it as KYC. Know your client. Once you know your client well, when I'm saying know your client doesn't mean about only professional. You know your client about when you have a conversation, you'll always talk about professional, business, numbers, markets, and various other things around it. Simultaneously, when you have a conversation, you'll also say, talk about the common interest areas, maybe hobbies, maybe on the family side, you have a conversation, you get to know a person more. I think once you know holistically the client well, you don't need to jump the boundaries. Then you can know about it, go back, and then work around it. And I think then slowly, when you build a good professional relationship, and there is conviction around it, you start leading to the other side of personal conversation also, then there is 100% chance that you yourself will stop doing anything negative for him. The wrong selling will not come when the
But
word which I used earlier.
Who are these people? These people, I think everybody uh, in themselves, they are an island.
Mhm.
An island that gets connected to different island, right? So if you're trying to establish a relationship with somebody, you are an island in yourself, and then you connect to another island, right? Uh, and in order to build that bridge, you the most important thing is that you first know your own self. You first know your own island, which is the best place to build a bridge. What you're telling me is that you have to know the client. The problem that I feel is the client and most people do not know themselves, do not acknowledge themselves, right? So this becomes a big challenge. How do you know somebody who has no idea who he himself is, right? So is this all system flawed, or I mean, how do you deal with it?
See, there are many people, mm, they won't open up easily, first of all. It's a nature, it's a human nature. Some people, I can quote many examples to you when my meeting started on such a negative note where I knew that it's not going to last more than 5 minutes. And I mean 5 minutes. Okay. And those meetings, when you judge in the first minute or second minute or third minute, you need to change your approach in that meeting itself. And so many meetings I can quote, which 5 minute actually turned out to be 2 hour meeting. Okay. The moment you start probing a bit, and I use the word called as involvement. At times you'll find people, they get into monologue mode. They will not ask, they will not involve that person that what's your view. Or at times the body language itself works. Like for example, if I am talking and if you're nodding, for example, you'll say, oh, you're accepting it, you're acknowledging it. Once you read that well, body language of the other person, his expressions, his body language, his hand movement, etc. and all that, you can start reading. And the moment you read that, then you start making into him in various things. And I have seen that many a times. In fact, I'll flip it around and say other way around. There are times client have given only sharp 7 minutes.
Okay.
In the meeting, in the phone call when he's setting up a meeting, he said, I have 7 minutes. You whatever you want to tell me, tell me. And he will not give you 8th minute for sure. Now, that's an elevator pitch. Whatever you do in that 7 minute, do it. If you can strike, you're done, because you're dealing with senior intellectual corporate executives.
Okay.
And they don't have time. Okay. They have that much time. So can you use that time well prepared for the 7 minute conversation? But you can win the battle. That's possible. I think you got to learn over a period of time. I always say there are only 2 words: experience and exposure. The more you take, the faster you practice, you'll find your way.
So, and I think, see, we are talking not about intelligence over here. We are not talking about emotions. This is interpersonal behavior, right, that we are discussing here. And I think the more you go up on the corporate ladder, the more important this becomes. Because probably somebody lands a job with an attribute that comes from the resume. But then as he rises, that attribute recedes in the background, and what becomes more important is how he's able to socialize with other people. For example, you're from finance, so I'll take the example of a CFO.
Yeah.
Now, when somebody becomes a CFO, it's given that the person knows how to count, how to look at the balance sheet, how to manage money prudently, right? But what is more important is he able to display confidence? Is he able to manage a team of smart people? Is he able to address large number of team members confidently? And these are very important when he is at a very senior level in the function, because his social skills are more impactful.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a 24-year-old guy, and I meet you for the first time. I will want to show you all the good things that I have.
Correct.
Right? You say that there's a sharp 7 minutes meeting. in that 7 minute, I will try and show you all the good sides that I have.
Correct.
And I will hide all the bad sides of me,
I
all
agree.
my weaknesses.
I agree.
Now, on the flip side of it, मेरा जो पर्सनल रिलेशंस हैं बहुत क्लोजली जिन लोगों के साथ, वो लोग मेरे दोनों साइड्स जानते हैं, my
Correct.
good and my bad,
बिल्कुल.
right? So, I mean, if you close your eyes right now and you think of the person with whom you strike the best chord, I think those people are the ones that know your best and your worst,
That's true.
right? तो ये 7 मिनट में जब somebody is trying to mark off an impression, showing all the good sides, how do you understand? How do you really know that you're probing your measurement of the person is coming out right? How do you do that?
In my view, 7 minutes are not enough for sure. But 50% of the time, it's very important that you're in listen mode as well with the client. Like what you mentioned about the person, 24-year-old went or goes to him and speaks to him and show him this is what I've done in 7 minutes. But there's no reverse answer to it. This is what he has done. A great job done as a monologue. That is what I do. But was that the objective of the meeting? Objective of the meeting is that whatever you're doing, is that client in agreement to what you're saying? Is it what he wants? Is it what he's trying to consider you for? Is that product convincing him? Is it what solving his problem? And that is where the whole game starts. Now, you might say 3 things, but you might find he's sitting flat-faced, has no reaction to what you're saying, and then finally you have no idea what will his response will be. Because finally, after that 7 meeting, you go, and then you will chase him for business, right?
True.
End of the day.
Obviously.
And the answer will be, I'll get back. That's the answer you're going to get back. Because in that meeting, when you got a chance, you did not try to probe then and there itself. And after 6 minutes of conversation, I'm assuming it's 7 minutes sharp, the last 1 minute, you have to set the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
That's important.
This is what you do.
This is very important.
Okay.
Because if next meeting is not prepared, what is he looking for and what is he observing you for, you are not going to get into him in the long run.
Acha, I'll get more deep into that only.
Yeah.
You meet somebody, say for example, I met you for the first time at a CFO conference that we've organized. So you met 200 CFOs over there.
Yeah.
And I saw that you were more engaging than everybody else from your team. So you were talking to every other CFO.
Yeah.
Now आप मिले एक CFO से हायत में. फिर then you went back to Mumbai. This was in Bangalore. So you went back to Mumbai. How do you ensure that that personal connection continues and वो बिल्कुल ही professional नहीं हो जाए? वो कैसे करते हो आप?
So 2 ways to it. One, in that conference, for example, where I attended along with you, maybe 6 of them I knew. Okay, for example. Okay. Some came from Chennai, somebody came from Bombay, etc. All that I knew them very well. Anyway, when they met me, it was a warmth which was there on that side. Those people were standing with another 6, obviously.
Okay.
They themselves introduced me to them
Okay.
through the reference. That's how we built
But
our
then how do you
exercise.
build on
That's
it?
number 2. Number 3, once you have done that and during the day you spent good time with them, you go back. I think email as a conversation, WhatsApp as a conversation, communication modes, all the types, is third thing which works. Fourth thing which I did exceptionally, I can tell you that also. Out of those maybe 8 people I met, I followed them on LinkedIn and other professional pages, and I actually sent them bouquets on their birthdays after that.
Okay.
Okay. And couple of them I sent them Diwali also. Just as a curiosity's sake, a box of chocolate just to remind them
Okay.
there's a relationship. That's all.
Okay.
Now, neither I had any business relationship with them, nor I knew them more than what I did last time in Bangalore. Now, when I visit next time Bangalore, I think they will definitely remember there is somebody called Sanjay who remembered me on my birthday. Another person I sent him, he won an award in Singapore. He went along with his team and I sent him a bouquet. Now, I had no relationship with him, right? But just to remind him that I exist and we met in Bangalore, that's congratulations to you and your team. This was just a subtle message to tell him that we met, we had a good conversation. I'm in financial services, you are from CFO's background. I'm sure some point in time we'll connect. And many of the clients you'll find, they are not investors. But like your event said, CFO Story Club, right? Now you create a great platform for relationship, which is termed as club. Once you create that club, you will know many people around it. Once you do that, things start falling in place automatically. Business will follow. So for me, if I can use 3 words, for me network is net worth. There's nothing else, if I can say that.
So what's the lesson now? Supposedly somebody from field marketing is watching us right now. So what's that one core message for that person that you have who's trying to build on relations and trying to develop business in future?
So, Razum, one thing is very clear when I speak and meet so many young guys today who are just past their MBAs and got into corporate world. I think one thing which I realized, for them relationship is not permanent. For them relationship is there. Till the time somebody exists in their world, the relationship exists. The moment that person is away or off, I think they will cut their relationship, the ties are cut and they will move on. For them, loyalty factor is a very different thing. And maybe this is what we have learned over a period of ages in last many, many years. One thing I definitely want to tell them, okay, a person needs you today, you need him today. There are times when that person, because of genuine reasons, may not need you today. But the person exists. He's not going anywhere in this world. He's there. You are also there. Even if that person goes, the relationship discontinues. The best way is to continue relationship wherever that person is. And believe you me, I can tell you, relationship never goes away. I have practiced this for last 25 years in my career. I have lived in so many locations in my career, out of my home. But I can proudly tell you, I have never cut ties with anyone.
You sponsor a lot of conferences.
Yeah.
Like CFO conferences, and then your team along with you, obviously, you lead that engagement with all of these CFOs probably in attendance.
Yeah.
तो आप अपनी टीम को क्या मैसेज देते हो? क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है उनका एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में जाने का, एंड देन वहाँ से क्या लेके आते हैं वापस?
सी, पहली बात तो बड़ी क्लियर है, लोगों से मिलो, लोगों से सीखो, क्योंकि जिन लोगों से हम मिल रहे हैं वो हमसे ज़्यादा इंटेलिजेंट हैं, वो हमसे ज़्यादा लर्नेड हैं, वो हमसे ज़्यादा इंटेलेक्चुअल हैं, वो मार्केट को हमसे ज़्यादा जानते हैं. आई थिंक सबसे बड़ी बात यही है दैट यू हैव टू कीप योर ईगो असाइड एंड लर्न फ्रॉम एवरीवन. Okay, there is no doubt about it. And these are the people, you can pick up the good things from each one of them and try to imbibe that in your normal course of time. Once you do that, then you'll start engaging, you go back and you start engaging with these people. Because वो जेम्स बॉन्ड की मूवी थी ना, टुमारो नेवर डाइज. इन माई व्यू रिलेशनशिप नेवर डाइज. आई कैन टेल यू फॉर श्योर, इफ यू कंटिन्यू इट नेवर डाइज. एंड वाई आई एम सेइंग दिस, लेट मी एंडोर्स दैट फर्दर. इन आवर वर्ल्ड, we are a part of investment management world. But not every time we teach, not every time we impart that knowledge to someone. At times we also want to learn something which is beyond investment. Maybe tomorrow if I want to learn something about tax, something about wealth related matters, something about inheritance tax, something about global or overseas investment taxation, something related to NRIs, something related to Forex. And these are many subjects which I talked about, has no relationship with my own business on a daily basis. But when I meet the clients, the conversation hovers around many topics which are beyond our business. Now this is where when you have, you know, so many people you have met in the events which are not related to your business, but they are go-to people. You can just pick up the phone and tell that tomorrow I want to understand this, can you help me understand this? I remember I calling up PSU banker, very senior PSU banker. He lives in Kolkata now. He is retired from PSU Bank. He was a Forex master in our country. Whenever I need something related to Forex, I can anytime calling up and meet him. And whenever I visit Kolkata, he's retired. He has nothing to do with business with me.
True.
But every time I visit Kolkata, I meet him over a cup of coffee for sure.
Wow.
And he still feels that why the hell I come and meet him? Because he knows मेरा तो उससे कोई बिजनेस रिलेशन है ही नहीं और होने वाला भी नहीं है फ्यूचर में.
क्यों मिलते हो आप?
बस जस्ट वो रिश्ता बना के रखो, क्योंकि उन्होंने जो 35 ईयर्स 40 ईयर्स जो उन्होंने जॉब करी है, उनकी नॉलेज जो वेल्थ है, इफ़ आई कैन गेट 20% 10% आउट ऑफ इट ऑल्सो, आई थिंक आई विल बी रिच, यू नो. एंड एवरी टाइम ही रीड्स, okay, because that's his pulse. No harm in learning from him something. It may not be required in my business, but सीखने में क्या बुराई. But ये जो इवेंट्स की आपने बात करी जहाँ हम मिलते हैं इतने लोगों से, बहुत तरह के लोग मिलते हैं. There are so many people from technology side. In today's world, even in your event, I met somebody from tech side. So many businesses we get to meet, and these are the people who come from a very different startup backgrounds, IT infra side, tech solutions, जिनसे हमारा दूर दूर तक कोई लेना देना नहीं है एक्चुअली देखा जाए तो. बट वो जो कुछ कर रहे हैं वो कहाँ डिसरप्ट होने वाला है हमें नहीं पता. बट यू गेट इन टू डीप समथिंग, व्हेन यू लर्न समथिंग यू एक्चुअली फाइंड आने वाला टाइम ऐसा तो नहीं है कि बहुत सारी जॉब चली जाएंगी, हमें नहीं पता. वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड ऐसा तो ना हो जाएगा कि दैट सो मेनी जॉब्स विल एक्चुअली गेट डिफंक्ट.
कभी डर लगा कि AI will take your job?
Not as of now, because in our world, market changes so thick and fast. I do not know whether AI can actually evaluate that so fast, because so much of data hovering around it, and there is no set formula for making money. Okay, because so many things are related to markets, data, but so many things at times are impractical in nature when it moves and you actually get surprised.
ठीक है.
Nobody knows. That's why. So I think maybe tech still has time to take that place, I think.
Okay. See, we also send our people to different conferences to network. And young लोग होते हैं, business development managers, जिनका काम है कि नए लोगों से मिले, and they try and open new avenues of business. जब वो किसी इवेंट में किसी CFO से या किसी CMO से मिलते हैं, डिफरेंट पीपल, डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव, डिफरेंट फीडबैक, सब अलग अलग अपनी एक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू देते हैं. तो ऐसे जो लोग अभी हमें सुन रहे हैं, स्पेशली पीपल वर्किंग इन बिजनेस डेवलपमेंट हु मीट न्यू पीपल एज पार्ट ऑफ देयर कोर जॉब, तो आप एक उनको कुछ फ्रेमवर्क बता सकते हो कि जब वो किसी से मिले तो हाउ डू दे डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन अ कंस्ट्रक्टिव फीडबैक versus something that's just negative?
See, there are multiple types of people. One, there are people who are very difficult in nature. Maybe a client who's very difficult in nature. Okay.
Difficult? What do you mean by difficult?
He may listen to you, but he will say, thank you very much, I'm not interested at all.
Okay.
The reasons can be many. Or maybe he doesn't want to deal with you at all because he has 20 other relationship.
Okay.
So he doesn't need one more to get added. The second perspective to it is the client personal from that company is difficult. The client is not difficult.
Okay.
That's other way of looking at it.
Most of the times, yes.
Right? And you'll also find the moment he leaves that chair, you may again strike the balance with that client, with the new person, the new guard. And we have seen this enough and more in our careers over a period of time now.
Yes.
It changes completely. I think that is where it's very important. So my view is that constructive feedback is so important. Let it come towards you. Don't just let it go. Listen. Analyze it. Maybe you'll find some threads which are worthy and he's actually right about you. Maybe he's giving you right feedback around you. But many a times you will find it's like the old movie which you must have watched, The Good, Bad, the Ugly. I think it's sometimes the internal critics or non-constructive feedback what you find is like that. You will say, okay, this is worth listening to. Let me catch hold of it. Let me leave many things around it also. तो वो कभी-कभी my son's name is Samay, so Samay बड़ा बलवान है. वो हर चीज़ का सोल्यूशन देता है, इसीलिए सो आने दो, doesn't matter. That is why I think that's a better way.
But I'm just 24 and I am a business development guy, first job. How difficult this is for me to understand the difference. तो कुछ एक है parameter that you recommend कि इसको पकड़ के चलो to understand the difference.
Let me not give you a straight answer. Okay, let me give an analogy around it.
Okay.
I'm sure you must be following cricket the way I do, and in cricket in India is a religion.
Yeah,
not
obviously.
a sport for sure in India.
I mean, you ask today's score and I'll tell you India is leading by 497 runs in the
For sure. You must have seen the Australian bowler called as Glenn McGraw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Used to call as Pigeon in his times. One of the finest fast bowlers who took more than 500 wickets. One thing was very, very, I maybe the best about him. I mean, the off-stump line which he will bowl, unremitting, immaculate, and he can continue to bowl the same line for hours.
Yeah, third, fourth, fifth
He was very
wicket.
famous that if you put a coin just beside off-stump, he can hit that coin every time when you bowl. And he was the one guy who was the thorn in Sachin Tendulkar's life, who bowled him 13 times,
Yeah.
okay, in his life, and he was like that. And the point which I'm trying to bring is that the people, especially 24-year-old which you talked about, they need that focus, a razor-sharp focus, and the relentlessness in their mind that if I'm doing right, and if I can evaluate if I'm doing right, continue to do that right thing. Many times, like earlier I said, on one phone call I could convert a client. Not every time that will happen. Okay, you have to be persistent about it, and if you do that, there is great chance. So maybe a generation a little bit needs to learn that persistence will work. It will bound to convert into results, and you don't need to get worried about it. As I said earlier, relationship never dies. It is bound to come in your favor.
But how did you develop that focus? Anything that you followed, or any recommendation, any book? What's the secret sauce?
I think maybe I was a little lucky. Maybe there were 2 or 3 mentors of mine, the managers of mine, in the initial part of my career. I think something they were very focused about in their approach, in their nature. And the other side was that when they used to sit with me and maybe appraise me or review me or whatever you call it as, they were always focused on the journey.
Okay, so
not on the result.
So the lesson here is that if you're confused and you're young, look for a mentor.
100%. I mean, there's no doubt. And I'll reframe it and maybe I'll extend your statement. If you find a good mentor, don't leave it. Because many times you don't actually value at that time. When you leave it, you later realize it, oh God, I made a mistake. I should have stayed back. Don't do that, because very rare you find a good mentor. And I'm always thankful to my mentors.
Okay. The wise friends that you have.
And you'll be surprised that on all 3 mentors, still I remember whenever there's a Teacher's Day.
Wow.
Even today I remember, and I actually send them a message for sure.
So they are friends?
Oh yeah, of course. They're very happy to see over a period what I've learned from them, what I've practiced, and they're very, very happy to see that. And so when you meet them today, it feels nice. That's why.
Okay. When I was informed that I need to talk to you and I looked at your bio, I noticed something that I am dying to ask. आपने लिखा था एक लाइन में friends, foes and fireworks. क्या मतलब है इसका?
Okay. So friends for me is in a pragmatic manner, it's a relationship to me. Friends can be personal, professional, it can be any side. And even on a personal side, the person who actually brings those lessons and he nudges you to keep learning, and don't leave those people who are actually teaching you. So for me, every one of that is a friend.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Balance I'll come later maybe in this conversation. Let me unfold it over a period of our conversation. Yeah.
All right. So आपने एक एडवाइस दे दिया कि मेंटोर को खोजो or if you get one, stick to it. And that will be the competitive difference in your career and the way you perform and your clarity. Now, how, for example, the mentor, if there's a mentor, there will be feedback, right? And then when, for example, I have a mentor and I'm facing a setback and I'm given some feedback. So वो जो cope up का phase होता है ना, that is very tricky. So how do you advise somebody to grasp that feedback, that setback, and then to come up very strong?
You are talking about the mentor side?
Yeah, mentor, or probably the bosses or anybody who's given a feedback that's not very positive, but comes around like a negative, or there's a setback involved with that feedback. So how does somebody bounces back? How do you look at those constructive feedback, for the lack of a better word?
I think I have only one thing to learn from that, and maybe I don't mind sharing that. First of all, have belief in your mentor or your coach or your senior or whatever it is. I mean, once you have that, your half the pressure, mental pressure, will actually go away. You'll start looking at the same sentence or the same feedback in a constructive manner, which today you are finding it completely negative because you are saying, no, it's not like that. It's actually untrue. The moment you take that in your stride, you'll actually realize it, that, yeah, what he's saying is not wrong. I think maybe partially it is right. Let me ask few more questions and figure it out if I can correct it. Why not? And I think the moment you become positive about something, I think things completely change there itself. And that's where you start having a solution. Not that I never had arguments with my mentors in my life. I had many times. You'll be surprised at once in my career, I actually cried also. Okay. I'm not an emotional person, but I cried on that day because I didn't find it at all, because it's actually untrue. Maybe he read it wrongly. The manager read it wrongly, or maybe he couldn't analyze it in that manner, the way it was. Maybe he didn't know the facts better. But that's fine. I mean, that's part of it. But later he realized it when I told him, when things cooled down. I did take that in my stride. I did take that feedback. I said, let me think about it and come back to you. But it worked. It really worked very well. I think patience is virtue, if I can answer that.
So you're telling that setbacks can be turned into opportunities.
Oh, 100%.
And the framework and the key to that is having good mentors and looking at constructive feedback as not negative feedbacks.
I'll say it's not about mentors, it's about the environment maybe around you. I'll say this way, because mentors are one person. Maybe it's your colleague, maybe interdepartmental colleague who may be very, very good in giving you feedback upfront on your face. And I had many colleagues like that in my life. Who always used to say, because they were my hamdard. They didn't mind telling me, Sanjay, theek nahi hai, galat hai. Soch dobara. The moment they said to me, I think things started changing. And environment teaches you many things.
Like, can you share an example of, you've also said your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
And then right now you mentioned the importance of having that surrounding well designed and good number of people. Yeah. So any instance where something happened and you were able to cope just because of your surroundings?
I'll give you two very critical examples of my life. In fact, whenever I write my autobiography, it will be part of that as well.
Okay.
Way back in 2008, when global financial crisis happened, I think it was a nightmarish time. There is no doubt about it. And not only for me, it was a global phenomena, unknown devil, which got into our life. I remember this was around October 2008. And the period was 8th October 2008 to 29th October 2008, if I remember the dates correctly. Every day, there used to be only business outflows. There's no business inflow at all. And the time was very tough. And it became very bad time for India also, because India was caught on the wrong side of the markets. And at that time, Indian economy was not in the greatest shape. We were dependent big time on the global markets and all that. And exactly in that period, this has happened. And we started to see big negatives for India as an economy. I think I was very clear that we will lose our jobs for sure, because the way things were moving, I think 50% of the people will be asked to go. Rationalization, manpower rationalization will happen, and it will not be company mistake, but it's an environment. Now, that's the time when people around us, when I used the word friends earlier, that's where I'm coming to, is those are the people who taught you around it. I said, hold on, okay, stay put, keep working, because it's not that company is putting pressure on you. It's the environment which is putting pressure on you. You have to do your things right from your side. If you continue in your stride, have patience. Things are going to fall back in place. And believe me, within a month's time, November or December 2008, globally things turned around completely.
Wow.
And the amount of return people made next 6 months from there is unbelievable.
True.
Unbelievable when I'm saying. And the times changed. Regulator took some actions and things started to change. I think the point which I'm trying to derive, these are incidences which made our peace of mind was shaken big time. You actually thought. Another thing happened, second thing which incidents happened in my previous assignment as well, when the decision was taken due to external market conditions, and then business completely shut down. Okay. Now you have nothing but to hold your horses, because company was fully supportive of you. If you do that, at least 3 people I remember called me up from a relationship, I'm using the word friends, who said, Sanjay, you have seen enough in your career these downturns, and you have always held your nerves. Hold your nerves even now.
Okay.
Life doesn't go away. And these are the people who gave me so much of confidence. Okay. That it actually told me, if you stay put, things will turn around. It's not that your company is under pressure. It's you who are under pressure. Now, because you like to work hard, perform, you take self-built pressure at times. Don't take it. Doesn't matter. Nothing will happen. And I think it helped me cool down. The reverse engineering worked over a period of time, and things actually changed back. Normalcy returned. Well, there's no looking back from them. So I'm just giving you people.
Yeah.
Need to,
So
people need
two
to
lessons that I derive from 2 stories that you share. One is a crisis is too precious to lose.
Yeah.
And the second is that you win if at times you just hang on.
Oh, 100%.
And you've precisely mentioned the importance of having good people.
Yeah.
Now, you've already told how to build on relationships, but not everybody belongs to somewhere already. For example, if I am, for example, say from Bihar, and I come to Mumbai to work in the corporate sector, there's nobody from my family who was in the corporate sector, and then I come suddenly to, say, for example, at your company, and you tell me that go to the conference and network and build relations, and then both internally and externally, ये काफ़ी ट्रांजैक्शनल होते हैं रिलेशंस बनाना. तो उसमें एक सर्टेन लेवल की ऑथेंटिसिटी को अगर हम लाना चाहें, सो what recommendations or framework do you have, or how do you teach people to bring in that realness when they are building on relations? मतलब ट्रांजैक्शनल नहीं रह के 1-to-1 कैसे कनेक्शंस बने?
So, in a business like ours, for example, starting a transaction itself is a journey. Okay. And I can also tell you, you'll be surprised that the longest time I took to convert a client was almost 6 years.
6 months or years?
6 years.
Okay.
Okay. While I also said that I converted a client over a phone call, in one phone call in 10 minutes, the longest time it took is 6 years.
Okay.
You know, in a business like this, transactional relationship will reach when the transaction will happen. Most of the people succumb in this journey of converting a client itself. And once you convert the client, and you have taken so much of effort in converting a client, and you become transactional, I think you're heading for a doomsday. It's a ticking time bomb. It's a matter of time, because like I said earlier, the moment the client stops giving you business, you'll stop talking to him. You'll discontinue, you'll disconnect your chords with him, and then, relationship is anyway not there. Transactional relationship is a very short blip which lasts in life. Work only on medium to long term relationships, and wherever that person will be, you will learn something from that person, because he's still in the finance only. If I'm talking in my domain, he'll remain in that field, whether he'll remain in accounts or a treasury or a finance or whatever field, FP&A, wherever he is within the function. You can still learn from him, and he may return. And I've seen this many. One of the reason if I've seen a little bit of success in my career is because of not disconnecting relationship. Because that same person, after 3 years, became my biggest client.
Wow.
Because when he returned back to the same chair or a new chair.
Okay.
And I always tell my client, once a CFO, always a CFO, right? If he's not in this company, he'll be in some other company.
True.
There'll be a CFO, right? I'm sure you meet so many CFOs.
True.
At times in your event, you might have called him from X company. Next time you call him from the Y company.
Correct. Yes, obviously.
So he is a CFO. Relationship will happen. If not today, it will revive next time. It's just a matter of time. If people forget that, believe me, as I said, ticking time bomb.
And okay, so I have all the right intent to establish a relationship with for example, a CFO.
Yeah.
Or with anybody that I meet. But regardless of all my efforts, I cannot connect to you if you don't want to connect with me.
Correct.
So, what is that one point wherein I say, nahi, I'm pushing a wall? Have you had those experiences in life wherein, see, you have a nature of building on for life, but not everybody will follow on the lines. There will be people who are very transactional. They would just want that blub to happen transactional.
Yeah.
So how do you leave it when after a point जब आपको लगता है कि नहीं यार यहाँ नहीं होगा वो connection, तो वो कैसे identify करते हो?
I think, is there a written formula around it? My answer is no. But if you keep talking to a client, so number one, is he responding? Either to your phone call or in the discussion over the phone call, is he actually responding to you, first of all?
Okay.
That's the biggest thing one you'll have.
Okay.
Second,
Okay.
in that response, is he still skeptical? Is he curious to know about you? Or actions which are happening at your end? Is he even interested to understand that? Once you read that well, I think that is where things will start to change. And if that is not happening, believe me, there's a signal or an indication saying that I think I'm not interested. Now that's the time you go to the step 3, involve your seniors only. Maybe that the actions which you have taken, it's not leading to the right direction of conversation. Maybe he's wanting more. Maybe he want something beyond in terms of conversation than what you are doing. Maybe there's a limitation. Now that's where in the hierarchy of in the corporate hierarchies are. If you utilize that and leverage upon it, maybe at times there may be a better intellectual conversation which can have, and maybe that will open up better at times.
You meet somebody who's very important for you for business, but you find out that the person he's all into winning, both important, worth winning arguments and also useless arguments. You also see that ये बंदा सोचता है कि मुझे सब कुछ आता है और मुझे किसी से कुछ नहीं सीखना, और whenever you talk to him, he is like, मेरे से सीख लो. I'm sure you must have met these kind of people, like you meet thousands of people. So how do you tackle that?
ऐसे तो लोग बहुत मिलते हैं, रोज मिलते हैं.
हाँ.
ऐसी क्या बात है. इनफैक्ट मेजॉरिटी लोग ऐसे ही मिलते हैं जिनको सब कुछ आता है. That is where your job actually starts.
Okay.
And that's where you find that void. If you can spot that void between what he's understanding and what you are sharing, game वहीं से शुरू होता है. In the tennis is love all. I think that's where it starts.
Okay.
And that's where once you start telling him what he doesn't know, he has no idea about, ask him 5 questions.
Okay.
Relevant ones.
Objective क्या है वो पूछने का?
just to tell him that we also know a little bit better.
Okay.
We are trying to
So
strike
वो
a
ego
chord.
fight पे नहीं आ जाएगा, then how do you build that relation?
नहीं आएगा, कभी नहीं आएगा इसीलिए. Because sometimes we are not there to counter him. We are not there to argue with that gentleman.
Okay.
We are there to tell him that this is what is happening. You may accept it, that's fine. You may not accept it also, because world is evolving. When world is evolving, there are so many things which are happening around you. It's just a matter of time whether he will accept your statement, or he will read in the media and he'll say, you're right. Okay. I can tell you a classic story on a personal side. I've been in asset management business for a long period of time. I used to tell my father about mutual funds. Okay. But the last thing I'll tell him, I'll try to teach him about mutual fund. Okay. You should avoid. In your family, don't try to teach. That's what I have learned in my life.
Okay, another
He
lesson.
never used to believe me.
Okay.
And I used to tell him also. One fine day, in 2000, maybe 12, 13, he calls me and asks me, ये gold electronic कैसे होता है? Okay. Coming from Marwadi Jain family from Rajasthan, gold is in our blood. I mean, it's part of our life, right? And that was I could only smile when he called me up and asked me this question. And I was very happy when he asked me that question. I said, okay, now you're understanding that my business exists. Because that's where gold can be bought digitally also. You don't need to hoard it and keep it in your vaults at home and conserve it and all that. I think that's the time when I got some
सारी
respect
पढ़ाई
from
काम
him.
आ गई.
So I think that's what people have to understand. And I think you have to keep trying. I think people will believe me. 100 में से 100 क्लाइंट कभी कन्वर्ट होते भी नहीं है और जरूरत भी नहीं होती.
कभी किसी ने इंसल्ट कर दिया हो, तो वहां से कैसे वापस आए?
But that's okay. I mean, when we chose your function called sales, no, this should have been part of your stride for a long time.
What lessons do you have for people watching us who are, for example, my team members watching here? They a good part of their job even today is to cold call people,
Yeah.
right? And for example, they call somebody and they said it's not a good time, and then bang, the phone disconnects. We call that black box, the landline, as the black box,
Sure.
the black magical box, and there are all kinds of rejections. People with 7-8 years of experience get phone banged
Yeah.
on the face, and then they feel very insulted. In person as well, I have had an encounter. I met somebody at KPMG. I would not name the person, very senior guy, almost close to the management level. And I introduced myself, and then I had my partner from the US along with me. He was the ex global CPO of Intel in US
Sure.
for about 18 years. But the KPMG guy just walked off, and he was important for business. So ऐसे सिचुएशन में क्या करना चाहिए?
देखो, किसी भी कंपनी में ना एक ही डिसीजन मेकर नहीं होता है एट टाइम्स. ये पक्का है for sure.
So
Whether
we
somebody
leave
agrees.
that point of contact.
Leave that for the moment. Don't ignore him. Don't leave him. Keep him there in your books. Do an indirect way of communications. Reach out to him. Continue to update him through email, through WhatsApp, different modes of communication. Don't ignore him. The moment you get out of recall, you're out of business. Simple as that. Out of mind, out of sight, out of business, for sure.
Okay.
That's a rule. So you have to be consistent, be regular in your networking, irrespective whether the person is responding or not. Let him remain flat-faced. Let him not respond. That's absolutely okay in life.
Okay.
What's more important is that you continue to update him. Because at times what you are doing, you may be doing actually exceptionally something very good, which he is not ready to accept because he is a close-minded person, which is fine. But he will open up. The moment, first thing which he likes, you have told him 70 things, one thing he'll like it. He'll say, oh, okay. And he'll come back.
Okay.
Because these are the people, one thing also tell you, they are the people when they open up, they are permanently with you. आपने जो पूछा ना मुझे, मैं एक चीज़ आपको बता सकता हूँ, मेरी लाइफ में बहुत क्लाइंट से फाइट हुई है मेरी. And especially in a business which was not their core, which was our core. though they are finance people. But our idea was that keep harping, keep explaining, keep telling them. Some point in time, they will realize it, and actually became our benefit. And जिन क्लाइंट से मेरी सबसे ज़्यादा फाइट हुई वो मेरे सबसे बड़े क्लाइंट बने.
अच्छा.
सबसे बड़े क्लाइंट बने. दे बिकेम माय बिगेस्ट क्लाइंट्स एंड परमानेंट रिलेशनशिप. वो होने में बहुत टाइम लगा, लेकिन जिस दिन वो क्रैक हुए रिलेशनशिप वो परमानेंट.
Okay.
सो टफ क्लाइंट्स आर इवन बेटर.
Okay. So you've mentioned friends on one side, जिनके साथ हमारा बन रहा है, जो हमारे एफर्ट्स को समझ रहे हैं, टाइम को वैल्यू कर रहे हैं.
करेक्ट.
दूसरे साइड पे यू मेंशन पीपल यू फॉट विथ, पीपल हु डिड नॉट अंडरस्टैंड, पीपल हु डिड नॉट रिस्पेक्ट. तो फ्रेंड्स हैं. इन ये दूसरे पार्ट को क्या कहते हो? फोज.
दिस इज फोर्स.
तो ये बैलेंस अगर सक्सेसफुल बनना है तो दोनों का बैलेंस बहुत ज़रूरी है, तभी गाड़ी चलेगी. तो क्या कर सकते हैं ये बैलेंस बनाने के लिए? कोई फ्रेमवर्क?
सो एज पर द इंग्लिश डिक्शनरी फोर्स मीन्स एनिमी.
अच्छा.
बट for me, these are not enemies. These are the people who are negative about you, who dislike you. Maybe they are the people who do not want you to be there where you are. They are the people who keep giving you negativity around you. The surroundings will become negative. They will try their level best to sort of create that. In my view, why I mention about that also is the people who say good about you, the friends, are anyway good about you. They're anyway in your favor. Sort of they're biased also at times with you.
True.
Which is also true, right? Your thickest of the people sometimes will be biased towards you also. Even if you do wrong, they will say good about you. These are the foes, the people which I'm mentioning, are the people, at least they are the ones who are the best to improve you. Because they will keep you on your toes.
Okay.
They will continue to push you out of your comfort zone. Your boundaries will be expanded. And they are the ones who will continue to tell you, kuch karo. And what will happen? That will make you learn more and do better, perform better and do something about it. Which is very good. I think if friends are important, foes to me are equally important in life, because if not fully, partially, they will definitely improve you. So I think that's the reason I mentioned friends and then foes as well.
अच्छा. और ये fireworks का क्या formula लगा?
No, I think if friends are for you, foes are also making you improve, it's a great balance. And if this great balance actually comes in place,
then
that's where you will have fireworks around you. You'll see success. Achha. You will witness, because you will improve.
Achha.
First, you will improve.
Very interesting.
And that will take you towards fireworks of relationship. It will lead to good business. It will be good behavioral change around you. It will be positivity around you. And the only way to do this is do a good job, do a right job in ethics with integrity, and be consistent about it. I think be consistent, be regular around them, and the number will speak. They themselves will become like that. So your fireworks is finally those numbers which are going to talk about it, and behavioral will talk about it. You don't need to change.
Okay.
The force is to change you. Don't do it. If friends are with you, foes are there, fireworks will follow. And I think that's the reason I mentioned friends, foes and fireworks. Yeah.
Okay. ये professional advice तो बहुत हो गया. I'd want to change the tracks just for the closure of this episode. I've taken a lot of your time. I think we've already crossed what we decided.
Sure.
But personal level पे कोई एक advice आप देना चाहोगे people who are struggling with any kind of relations? कुछ मंत्रा है that ensures success?
I think रिलेशनशिप में कोई मंत्र होता ही नहीं है मेरे ख्याल से. तो लाइक आई मेंशन्ड, हर रिश्ता इम्पॉर्टेंट है. वेदर ऑन पर्सनल लाइफ और प्रोफेशनल लाइफ, आई थिंक एवरीवन इज सो इम्पॉर्टेंट अराउंड यू. होता क्या है, सबसे पहले हमारा ईगो आता है. सबसे पहले हम अपने आप को क्लोज कर लेते हैं किसी भी चीज़ से लर्न करने के लिए. एवरीवन हैज़ सम नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव्स. the best way is to do a SWOT analysis of every person. It's easier said than done. I'm not saying that also. Easier said than done because we are humans, finally. We are not going to accept any negativity around us so easily from anyone. But if consciously, if you can take everyone around you positive and think about it, and you keep picking the right things about it, leave the negatives. The one thing which always people miss, let go. I think people don't learn that. Humans have a nature, they don't let go. So for me, ignorance is bliss. If we can practice ignorance as bliss, I think you'll remain happy. Your BP will remain normal. Your ECG will remain normal. Your relationship will become like fireworks. And you are going to attain success. You are going to actually win all the battles, if not today, tomorrow. It's just a matter of time. And I think that's where I feel you'll be very happy in your life and at peace. And you'll enjoy what you're doing. So I think do what you like, but remain patient about it, I think. And continue to strive hard, no doubt. So for me, hard work beats smart work.
Okay.
All the time. Continue
Right.
to that.
I think there are great chunks of lessons that you've given, and the core message that I can draw upon is build genuine connections, be consistent,
Yeah.
don't do everything for the sake of numbers, and when things don't go right, look for your friends,
Yeah.
and foes are as equally important. And if you strike the chord, look up at the sky, there will be fireworks.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Brilliant and very powerful messages, Sanjay. I think your insights will help anybody struggling today, especially around managing people or about building their own surroundings. I think you've been absolutely spot on people. Any final closing message on people management?
नो रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है? आई थिंक रिश्ता बनाइए, आगे बढ़िए. आई थिंक लाइफ में जीत तो पक्की है. आई एम श्योर यू वॉच क्रिकेट, नो? आई एम श्योर
Yeah,
यू हैव सीन पीपल हिटिंग रिवर्स स्वीप समटाइम
obviously.
or a hook shot maybe. There are two types of it. When hook shot goes very well, people say, what brilliant timing. Okay. When reverse sweep goes awry, you will say, was there any need to hit that shot? I think it was a very bad shot. If that reverse sweep become a 6, you will say, this person is the best batsman in the world.
Yes.
In my view, every relationship is like that reverse sweep. Keep trying, keep hitting reverse sweeps, keep hitting hook shots. Finally, you are going to win that battle, because end of the day, you are in a test match. You're not in a one day or a 2020. So it's a long run. Being a marathoner, I can tell you, remain in that long. Don't try to be a sprinter. Enjoy that marathon. Life is a marathon. Relationship is part of that marathon, and you're going to win that battle for sure. So for me, that's the only message I can give you for sure.
No, thank you so much. And I think you're absolutely right. Life is a test match. 5 दिन की जिंदगी. कोशिश करते रहिए, आगे बढ़ते रहिए.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Sanjay.
Thank you so
I
much,
think
Razum,
you've
for
been
calling me.
spot on.
Yeah.
And this is one of the best conversations I've had on people management and on relationships. All credit goes to you.
No, thank you so much for inviting me and having this conversation, because I think you also made me think many things around it. I think it's a refresher course for me today. So
All right.
like you run a lab, you always say you run a lab. I think for me it was a lab today having a conversation with you. Thanks,
All right.
Razum.